All right, so they found a Glock 9mm handgun, 3 extended magazines, 2 detonated smoke grenades, 2 non-detonated smoke grenades, and a hatchet.
Before we really start this, I just want to say it's been a little while. You know, we try not to take too long, but we got ish to do. We be doing laundry and not folding clothes out here.
Man, nobody missed you, bro.
Well,
nobody missed you, bro.
I hope they miss one of us. Like,
beard,
they need
bro.
a reason to watch this.
Clean your beard, bro.
I mean, when we get to 50 subscribers, I will clean my beard. How about that? All right, so never. Anyways, yeah. So it's been a while, but yeah, we still doing things. So don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, give your feedback. Of course, your feedback makes us better. So let's finally get into this. We got FrankJames out here, Mr. 2 first names. Actually, 3 first names. Right? Like
Frank Robert James.
Frank Robert James.
I think the R stood for Robert, but I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Should have been ridiculous.
You know you're crazy when you got 3 first names. So
what is up with that?
I don't know what your parents are thinking when they do that, but yeah. So this has been out for a while, right?
Yeah. Couple days now.
We've heard of the infamous Brooklyn shooting that's recently happened on the N line at 36th Street. FrankJames decided to shoot up a train cart to send a message, maybe, or just an act of craziness.
We still don't know what his motive was, but either way, there's no justification for that.
Yeah, aspects of his character from what started unfolding through the media and stuff like that were showing his kind of unrest with how, in terms of our society is operating, and dismay with certain aspects. So it just seems like there's some. It just looking at it, it's like it seems like one of those trying to send a message kind of situations, but at the same time, it's like you have unrest somewhere else, but you take it out on innocence. So,
but I mean, thankfully,
at the end of the day,
thankfully nobody died. That's a good thing.
That is.
I mean, 10 people did get shot. 33 shots, excuse me, were fired in total, and yeah, 33 shots was fired in total. 10 people were shot. 29 people injured.
Hey, you know what's crazy?
That's wild.
According to CNN.
This you could kind of throw shots at the police for this. You could be like, this man shot 33 shots and didn't kill people.
So instead of anybody coming at you, the first thing you do is shoot to kill. You shoot him in the leg.
Now, was that intentional, or was he just that bad of a shot?
I don't know.
That was definitely intentional, bro. In a train car, 33 shots fired off. You could kill somebody at that range if you want.
As the scenario went
he was just trying to injure.
He smoked the car first, and he had a gas mask. That was the thing. So he prepared to not get, negatively affected by inhalation. So after that, as soon as that goes off, he starts firing. Fired 33 times, so he was just shooting away, honestly. And then flees following after that.
To McDonald's.
But that's true.
Well, McDonald's. Like, they gotta know it was McDonald's. So this is my thing, right? This all just makes it sound like it was premeditated, right? The ammunition that he gathered. Oh no, he had a gas mask. He had a U-Haul truck.
They had a U-Haul van
that he slept in,
and he rented out an apartment. I guess so he could travel to the location where he needs to be. This was definitely planned.
Yeah, he planned this whole scenario.
So he had enough sense to at least do that, which is mind-boggling to me. But then, what would his message be?
I know. Well, and the craziest thing is he ends up calling the tip line to come and find him. Like, jeez.
And then he tried to run.
He just straight up told them, "Come find me." Literally, like he did what he did, and then called them to get him afterwards.
Yeah, it was like the deed is done. I did what I wanted to do. Now I'm not gonna even entertain the chase.
62 years old, this guy.
62 years old, playing cops like they're nothing.
In his mind, it's like at his age, there's not much for him to lose. Just thinking about it in terms of how he operated, honestly. But it's just like, dang. You just hurt people for what? And then you making like everybody feel unsafe within their own neighborhoods and communities and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right. Like we've grown up in Brooklyn all our lives. How do you feel about that now? How do you feel taking the train?
I mean, between seeing the homeless people who will bug out on there, between seeing the fight style breakout, the people who go crazy, rob people, the attempted rapists, all that, everything that probably happened on practically every train line in Brooklyn at some point.
Or just the trains in general.
So it's just really Brooklyn as always, just New York as always?
I mean, where did this incident take place, bro? I'm just talking about home turf. Like
I said, this is more peculiar than those other situations. It's not something that regularly happens on the trains.
Right, a terrorist attack.
There is always, obviously, stupidity leaking onto the trains because you have the homeless issue. And then, certain people who try to commit crimes when there's not much people running around the trains at that point in time. There's not much that can be done to aid people in those situations.
I'm glad you brought that up, though, because this kind of was spurred on. At least authorities or officials think it was spurred on because FrankJames didn't agree with what Mayor Adams was trying to do with
Eric
the police
Adams,
force.
right?
Yeah.
Eric Adams.
You know, the power of video editing will confirm that for us. But yeah, our new mayor is trying to enhance the police force by adding behavioral professionalists amongst the police.
Okay.
So, you know, literally Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, he was trying to beef up, you know, provide extra funding to help that. And I guess, you know, he was against that. Amongst other reasons, he was always ranting about misogynist groups that hated him and all that.
Yeah.
So again, within whatever semblance of sense he had, he felt like what he was doing was right to send.
But what did a bunch of random
message.
people on a train station have to do with your cause, bro?
That's
like,
what I'm
you
saying.
over here taking down the wrong people. I'm not. You know
And
what?
even
Let me
then-
not even say what I was about to say next, because I could have potentially started
It's
a riot
not
with the
there.
video. But what I will say is that those are not the people that you was upset with. But these are the people who had to suffer for what your cause supposedly was. That's
what
not
I'm
fair.
saying. It's just, but that's the mind of someone who's operating irrationally, clearly.
Exactly.
Like they had nothing to do with anything. It's like if your issue seems to be with law enforcement, then if he attacked law enforcement, still shouldn't do that. But at
all.
least the movement makes
Yeah, that's
more
what I was
sense.
trying to avoid saying. But you
That
still shouldn't do it.
Obviously, you shouldn't do it. It's law enforcement. They gonna shoot back. What are you doing?
Right.
And then, of all places, he targets Sunset Park, which is relatively on the quieter side. It's one of the safer parts within Brooklyn. That's why when it happened, I was like, Sunset Park, of all places? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but if he was intending to like embarrass the police force, then he succeeded. I will say that.
I mean, it was
I mean, look, he ended up in McDonald's because they were looking for him. They couldn't find this
Everywhere.
man. I mean, they were finally able to identify him,
Yep.
but they still had no idea where he escaped to.
no. Cops were patrolling just by the bridges. Like all the bridges had cops, like all around. You had the fire department, the trucks. They were sealing off areas. So pretty much, it was waiting for him to come out by himself. It was like they had him surrounded on ankles. So he just decided to just go to a spot and just chill and call them. Like, yo, y'all got me sealed. Come get me. That's literally what he decided to do.
He said he saw his face on TV and already knew he was wanted. That's what he said to them.
Jeez.
He knew what he was doing.
Knew what he was doing.
He definitely knew. I mean, so does this change anything for you guys in terms of you taking the train?
Nah.
Is this why you move?
Nope.
Down Brooklyn. This business is always, you still got to get up, you got to go to work.
You still.
I mean, you have to remember, this could happen anywhere, at any point in time. God forbid I'm there when it happened or a situation like that occurred, but how do you know, God forbid, the next time you go on a train car, there's not going to be someone that goes like, yo, I'm sick of my life and I'm sick of everybody, and you just start blazing. You don't know when stuff like that is going to happen.
Or
You
the
can't
bus.
predict it. You could walk outside of your house and somebody just be firing up the block, and God forbid someone is a victim of a bullet that wasn't meant for them. It happens all the time.
Yeah,
So I'm going to be scared now because FrankJames wanted to make an example of people who didn't deserve it.
That's what I'm saying. I'ma just not.
I
go
mean, at this
nowhere.
point, I'm
just
kind of
not live my life.
desensitized to everything. Like, I can't
Nah.
really say that, oh, no, I'm fearing for my
No,
life.
but of course we stay observant, and vigilant.
Right.
That's the point, you know. But that's like that wherever you go. If I'm walking, I'm not gonna be all reckless and just thinking I'm within safe areas and stuff like that. You know, places aren't the best. You know how to operate. If you're just walking around willy-nilly, not observant to certain things, then, you know. Obviously, there will be heavier vigilance within the trains. Of course, security will definitely start going up for the time being because we don't want anybody else playing a role. But you still got to move how you got to move.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, see, isn't this kind of victim blaming though, saying, okay, well, no, you're the one that got that has the potential for getting hurt, so you gotta now cover yourself and protect yourself and all that. Isn't that what we like to say?
I mean, that's
trying
not
to think of,
realistic
like-
in this point. How you protecting yourself?
Right, but I
from
feel
a
like
gun?
we throw out that word victim blaming so often. Like, you gotta watch out for yourself.
Victim blaming. I mean, like I said, nobody was aware something like that could happen. It's not a scenario where that's supposed to play out. But I'm not gonna blame nobody in the nature of the scenario. It's just like you just gotta operate how we're going. But let's see. In this incident here,
You wouldn't, so you don't really think it's victim blaming. I get it. I was just bringing up a point trying to see if.
nah, I get where you're going with it, but
So-
because I'm not gonna blame the people there. I mean, they had no idea something like that would happen because that's not supposed to happen.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just taking the train. We're going to a destination.
Word.
We're
Nobody-
just,
it's
we're-
always
nobody's
something
going to
that's
be,
simple,
but listen,
though.
nobody's going to be doomsday prepping just to go to their retail job,
That's
bro.
what
You know what I
I'm
mean?
saying.
Like,
It's
nobody
just
who's
so-
expecting smoke grenades and gun blazing
That's what
on
I'm
their way to
saying.
work or on their way coming back, bro.
You can also say that when kids go to school.
That's what I was going
to say. All right, what? You
going
to train the kids military style? No, there's a terrorist. We prepared for this. Got guns in their bags and all that.
And I'm like, that's not how this works. Then there's more. It's aspects of how do we go about, checking out people who might be coming on the train or something, unscrupulous things they shouldn't be carrying and whatnot, which is kind of rough. There's so many stations, The only place where you could get real checks is like the main stations, and they've done that over the years. There'd be certain main hub stations. There'd be police there that if you look kind of suspect or you're carrying a bag with a good amount, like a heavy bag, they would do checks, and these checks would be at a bunch of the bigger stations, like Barclays would do it, or parts of Manhattan and stuff like that. But I mean, they can't do it at every single station.
Highly populated areas. People go to the Barclay all the time for the events that's going on there. People go to Times Square all the time because Times Square is basically every tourist that come to New York's
the main hub place. So the debate more or less is in terms of is how do we profile in terms of like who might be carrying things that are dangerous, who might be a potential threat in these situations.
Just pick up all the black guys and just say, you can't take the train.
More.
Yeah, that's more, like 1/4 the MTA going to then.
Or more security of transit, you could say. Because clearly, if there's more people involved in that.
That's funny you say that because they were saying there were cops there.
That's what I'm trying to figure out myself. I was like, was there?
About a 62-year-old man. I mean, he was armed.
Yeah, but then I don't know how many firearms he had, but I know they found one of the firearms nearby where it happened. So it seems like he might have abandoned that initial weapon.
A 9mm, right?
I think so. It was a semi-automatic handgun. I remember hearing.
Some handgun.
And then the only thing he had from that point was more smoke grenades. It seemed to be most likely since there was 2.
All right, so they found a Glock 9mm handgun, 3 extended magazines, 2 detonated smoke grenades, 2 non-detonated smoke grenades, and a hatchet.
A hatchet.
I'm just glad.
According to CNN
News,
News,
use a hatchet.
No, that sounds like why do you have that hatchet? Maybe to play the role, because of the outfit he was in. Like he was dressed like either an MTA worker or a construction worker. To what? Be
Jack the Ripper? Like I don't understand.
Nah, he looked like a transit worker, bro.
Yeah.
But a hatchet with.
A hatchet. That's what I'm trying to think. Tool. Construction is the only thing that could be.
Yes.
And people say they thought he looked like a construction guy.
All right.
Like a contractor at the bare minimum.
I feel bad for just the people in the scenario.
No disrespect to people with the job title. I'm just saying,
man. But he clearly utilized.
He was going for an image.
Yeah, that's how he blended in.
I mean, that kind of says something about the construction industry as a whole. Because really, with a vest, you could get on a construction site. Nobody's really gonna know exactly who you are.
Nah, they got cards and everything to scan your ID and all that to get you
working in the construction industry.
There's certain barriers and certain parts you can't get to unless you already cleared.
I know. Yeah, I know that it's not as strict as people.
Nah, I know that it is, bro.
With the safety standards, like.
I know what you're trying to say, but bro. That was a while back. Right now, if you want to get
I'm talking about now. Listen. As we speak, I'm telling you.
Right now, if you want to get on certain sites, bro, that require you to have your OSHA, your SST, all that, the whole 9, there's certain regulations, certain barriers you have to be crossed first before they let you in the specific parts of work, bro.
Maybe for like high-profile jobs.
Possibly, yeah. That makes sense.
We're not talking about like a little... Someone came through with their truck, do the little contract job, and be gone. I'm talking about the official. You gotta
understand what's entailed with construction. Construction is you're opening up the city's resources. You're accessing underground network where you can get gas, electricity, communications. You could disrupt a lot of things just by digging up the street. Which is why
I know that you have to have a certain clearance to be even allowed to go.
And I'm telling you, as somebody that works in the industry, it's not as strict as you think it is. So the reason why I'm saying this is just that it's clear that there needs to be some type of restriction, some type of, I don't know, some type of enforcement to fix what had happened there. Because he was able to come with all this equipment and nobody just be suspicious of it. You can't blend in as a
fake cop as easily as you could as a fake construction worker. Really thinking about it, honestly.
I mean, when you compare the two, that's apples and oranges. Of course you can.
Yeah, it's just like, but that's how it works for him.
And besides, you got to remember one thing too, right? And I get your point, but we're not talking about someone who snuck in on a site and did this. We're talking about someone who was getting on a train as a regular passenger with that outfit.
But that kind of proves my point because it's like you don't need access to a high-profile area to do a lot of damage.
No. That's a different point altogether. You're right in that aspect, but that's not the same point. But that's not a topic we're getting into. The point is, we're all right in saying that it was too easy for him to get on and do what he did without the law enforcement being able to stop him in time before the injury.
Transportation. But they didn't know what he was carrying. That's the whole thing.
Right.
And like you said, they can't check every single person
that walks into the train.
So yeah. So I think you guys said it best. Honestly, it's just being vigilant. You know, life isn't gonna stop because of this. You got
exactly. The city will recover and the people will recover too. I mean, the trains is predominantly how so much people get around and save money, because driving around here is terrible. So
right.
that public transportation is something that's heavily utilized, but it's just distressing to the degree that he took advantage and basically made a mockery of the system. Just with going about it, honestly.
I'm really curious to see how the city is going to respond, how the mayor is going to respond to this.
True. How his case ends up going, honestly.
Yeah.
What happens to him?
So currently he's being held. He's being held without bond, of course. I'm sorry, without bail. Bail. He's being charged for terrorism.
Oh, without bail and without bond. They ain't trying to let that.
I mean, when it's all said and done, right? The mayor can give as much speeches in the world as he wants. But what's to stop somebody from walking into the train station and having something in their book bag that they're not supposed to and doing something like this again? A speech doesn't stop this issue.
Nah, I mean, like I said, that's enforcement.
You need enforcement who's able to get there at the point in time, at the right time, to handle it before there's any casualties to stop the issue.
Yeah, or be there so if something pops up.
We can make a change speech or a mayor standing in front of a bunch of people with an apology and we need to do better to the community speech does not stop somebody with a gun from making bullets fly. That's not realistic. And so asking what my fault for cutting you off. But my point is asking what is the mayor going to do or asking what anybody. To me, it doesn't make any sense to wonder what they're going to do. They can't physically do nothing. They're not going to gear up and strap up and go watch the subway themselves.
Yep. Like I said, it's just like you said before.
Enforced protection. I mean, that's what we need. We don't need a speech from a mayor. We need better protection.
Obviously, thinning out the police force is a difficult process because you know how many stations there are. It's just like they can't predict the outcome. And then what about buses? Then you see all the police are protecting trains. There's some idiot does it on the bus.
Yeah, exactly. Or in the middle of the street.
Literally,
it don't even need to be on transit.
Everywhere. This is just universal.
Transit. Y'all hear me? It don't even need to be on transit. It could be in the middle of the street. You walking down, someone just opening a crowd.
Yep. Well, ultimately, is showing better strength of enforcement, so it diminishes people acting reckless to this degree.
Right.
But certain people don't care about the consequences and are willing to do that. So we got to be prepared to stop those people when those situations happen. Just like you said, cops seemed like they were potentially there in the scenario, and they couldn't do much about the situation. Right. So it just makes the cops look goofy. Like, this is when we need you. Where were y'all? Like, it's bad.
This is weird. Just like
62-year-old dude.
Like, if defund the police was still a thing right now, this would be a big battle.
It wasn't a 62-year-old unarmed dude. It was a 62-year-old dude who was armed with a gun and a hatchet. So
that's what I'm saying. But it's just
and smoke grenades. So
he has nothing to lose. I mean, look, I'm saying, like, he already old. In his mind, he don't care. That's why he did this.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't know. There needs to be a better deterrent, but
yeah.
For now, just keep your eyes open, everybody.
Pretty
just
much.
pay attention.
Just staying vigilant, being careful. Still dealing with the ramifications of the pandemic more or less.
Yo, look, when you take the train, don't blink because people don't think, all right? That is that simple.